I'm sad Aaron isn't here to join us on this episode because we got a chance to talk about a big weekend in LA. Not only did we have the biggest Lakers trade, but it was a huge night in music. And the Grammys happened last night, and we just had an amazing conversation with two very special guests.
For sure. We had two special guests. They are children's music artists and they're also part of the Academy as well.
Hmm.
One of our special guests is Symon from Hot Toast Music Company.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And he's visiting us from
Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, super super cool dude. And we have my longtime friend and also a member of the Recording Academy and a children's music artist. He's an actor, Ronnie Boy Kids. He's coming on to the show just to talk about um and both of them, they both attended the Grammys, so they get to speak on it from a first person standpoint of actually being there, being part of the process of, voting and nominating and everything. So they really shed light on just the Grammys itself, which is something I really appreciate. Um, but yeah, I thought the conversation was super dope.
Absolutely. They helped us understand the process of getting nominated and
Mhm.
voting and how winners become winners on the Grammys. And we also talked about our perspectives on how the Grammys handled some recent devastation in LA and how we reacted to certain controversial
Yes.
points of the night on the red carpet.
Yeah, and I think I mean, it was such a good conversation. There was so many good points that I don't know, it's hard to pick and choose the highlights of the conversation. I think the whole episode was super dope. Everyone's just gonna have to tune into the whole thing. And mind you guys, the video cut out halfway through. So but we have the audio. So stay tapped in for the rest of the show. We're gonna probably roll some B-roll, but this is the whole thing. It gets juicier as we get towards the end. But you definitely don't want to miss this one.
All right, you guys. So the biggest night in music just happened last night here in LA. We're talking about the Grammys.
Oh, not about
The
the Lakers
Grammys,
trade.
yeah.
Not about the
That's what
Lakers trade, even though that really just took everybody's attention that whole afternoon. I'm still kind of shocked about it, but hey, I mean,
big weekend, big
got to
weekend.
think big picture, I guess.
We doing big things out here in LA.
Guess so.
Exactly. But to take my mind off of that, piece of news that wasn't so pleasant to me, I watched the Grammys. And honestly, that was my first time watching the Grammys front to back in years. And I have to say, me personally, I really enjoyed it. How about you guys? What did you guys think about the Grammys?
Um, like you, I haven't watched an award show in a long time. I think ever since Eminem started boycotting the Oscars, the
Oh,
Grammys,
Yeah.
I've kind of been on the same boat,
Yeah.
and the lack of transparency and all that. But this one felt different. I think I watched it for the sole purpose of doing this podcast, but no regrets. I mean, I thought it was awesome. It was more than I expected it to be. So you know,
definitely. Simon?
Yeah, it was impressive. Like I was when it first started, I have two boys at home, so they made me promise to take some videos. So I got them on FaceTime and showed them Billie Eilish's performance, which
Sweet.
that was sick. Anyway,
but I think we should highlight the fact that you watched it
Yeah.
from the actual event,
In
as also where me and
person.
yeah,
Liz watched it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I was
exactly.
there. Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 So
That's
But they
awesome.
were like, they got so into it, so they watched at home with their mom,
Mm-hmm.
which is the first time we've done that. So it was amazing. Yeah.
Awesome. And you were there too, Ron, in
Yeah.
person. So how did you feel about the show?
I thought it was really cool too. Like you, I kind of stopped watching a while ago to be honest. And so I didn't really know what to expect. And I guess watching as a now a recording academy member, um, I don't know, it was exciting. I was honored to be there, and um, I kind of I told someone next to me, I was like, this is like going into an all-star game, only musicians instead of basketball
Uh,
players or baseball players or
yeah.
whatever. And I couldn't
totally.
even believe we're in the same room as everybody. It's like we literally got to hear Bruno,
So
everyone
you guys
there.
It
weren't
was
there as
nuts.
fans. You guys
Same.
were there because you guys were part of obviously that scene and
Yeah,
part of the Recording Academy.
right.
And is that how you guys got access to the event? or was that like something you had to apply for, or I don't
Yeah.
know, how's that
Simon,
work?
you want to get into like how membership works?
Yeah, I mean, so you need to be a member to be able to purchase tickets,
Okay.
and there's some wiggle
Oh.
room in there. Like you can get more than just one ticket, so you can bring people. But yeah, I mean, membership requires 2 nominations,
Mm.
and there's a lot you kind of have to do. You have to be kind of doing this for a while. You got to have records out,
Yeah.
credentials, all that stuff.
Yeah. The
It's a
academy
process.
consists of like singers, songwriters, label heads, musicians, and just people who've been doing this, who are serious,
Yeah.
and so it's not a bunch of like random people. It's like,
Okay, so
Mm.
there's no fans at the Grammys?
Oh, there's fans too.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
So there's a section for fans to like
Well, it's
purchase
like,
tickets and
I brought,
listen.
my wife isn't a member, but she came with me last year.
Okay.
so
Ah.
there's like plus
So,
ones and plus twos and threes, depending on how many
yeah.
tickets you
Oh,
get.
there's not like a fan section.
Not to
No,
my
they
knowledge.
don't
Because
they
Yeah,
don't quarantine. Oh, yeah.
well, because
Imagine,
Show us
it's
your
like
ticket.
it's
no,
like the Clipper Stadium where they have the fan wall. It's just like me and
Yeah.
Earth
no, because
Yeah.
waiting
when
towels.
artists are giving like their award speeches and
yeah,
they say, "I want to thank the fans," and they're like pointing up at the fans,
right.
so it makes me think like, "Oh, there's a fan section there."
Yeah.
So
I,
there's no fans.
I
A
mean,
fan
I'm
section.
still a fan.
We're
Yeah.
we're all we're
Yeah.
musicians and
Yeah.
fans at the same time. I
Okay.
would say probably at the premiere ceremony, which is before the ones that we all watch on TV. It's generally mostly like Academy members and
Okay.
they're plus
Mm.
ones probably.
And it's
Mm.
more like colleagues. So like
Yeah,
at the premiere, that's not televised.
yeah,
But at the premiere, you're like talking to all the winners. And you don't see that on TV, but we're like hanging out in the lobby, supporting each other.
yeah.
It's a smaller room, it's self-seating. It's really special and intimate.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's like two part. There's multiple
Dang.
award shows.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad that's
Exclusive,
Yeah.
I'm
exclusive.
glad that's cleared up because I always thought there was like fans there, like the
Same.
VMAs or something.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe
Oh
the
yeah.
VMAs has a fan
Oh,
Yeah.
section
maybe the VMAs,
because they
but not
always
the
Yeah.
say, I want to thank the fans, and they're pointing at a
Right.
Mhm.
section. So
Mhm.
Right.
okay,
And like
I
people
honestly
pushing
was
back.
wondering that too. I'm
Yeah.
like, are there other people here? Because
yeah,
I thought it was just like recording academy members, our guests, and maybe like AEG or whoever company or label heads who are
Right.
invited to the thing. Because I don't think tickets are open to the general public.
no,
That's
not
that's
that
the
I've
thing.
seen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, people get them.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's crypto.com arena, so that's huge. That's a lot of seats
Mhm.
there,
And it's
Yeah.
It is.
packed. It is
Yeah.
and
packed.
so everyone there is music people.
Generally, yeah.
Generally, I met a lot of people that weren't in
Yeah.
the industry,
Oh, gotcha.
but they were connected
Yeah.
somehow,
They know
right?
Mm.
somebody.
The
Right.
tickets can be traced back to a member.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You basically can get up to 4 tickets as a member.
gotcha.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm sure there's other people like you who flew in to attend, so it's
Oh,
not just LA music people, right? It's
no,
like
people are from all over the
from everywhere.
world.
Yeah.
From all
Yeah.
over the
Mhm.
world. Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
that's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So to take it back to the show, and we were talking about like the Lakers and AD and Luca news, but there's also a lot of news surrounding the fires in
Mm.
Southern California.
Mm.
And I don't know, did you guys think that maybe this was too soon for the Grammys to take place since literally yesterday, the Eaton fire and the Palisades fires was 100% contained finally
Mhm.
Mm.
last night.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about the Grammys taking place while we're still kind of reeling from the fires?
Personally, I was all for it. Obviously the fires have really sucked and
Oh,
just really sucked the soul out of like Los Angeles for a long time.
Mm.
And I felt like it was something that we kind of needed, you know? Like when bad things happen, you don't want to sit in that space for like ever,
mm-hmm.
So I think it's something we needed, and I think the Academy did a really good job of asking people to donate. You guys probably saw it on TV, like, hey,
Oh
scan
yeah.
this QR code and donate. I think they what did they get? Like $7 million, I think.
They
Yeah, it was
did. They
crazy.
Yeah.
did.
The amount they
Yes.
raised. Yeah.
Yeah. So, a lot of good came out of it. And I think emotionally, I think the city like needed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
True.
sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not from LA. I'm from Tulsa. So it's really surreal. It's hard to be like attached from so far away and not just see this unfathomable tragedy.
Mm-hmm.
But it was cool. Like, so I definitely was like, this feels so weird. I just kind of have to put that aside to be able to go to this thing and talk to
Yeah.
people, like, and
Mm-hmm.
dress up.
Yeah.
But man, at the ceremony, I think they did a really good job
Yeah.
of drawing attention to it, raising money. And it's LA, man. So, like, I think that's the thing. It's LA.
Yeah.
This is what LA is.
Yeah.
This is what
Mhm.
people do. And so it's like almost like in having the Grammys, it's a way for people to actually help. This is the way they can help,
Mhm.
because of all the money. And they condensed um, like the events, right? So like
Mm,
last year there was the after party. There were a number of things. There were a lot more like events and parties,
Hmm.
ceremonies on a
mhm,
normal year, and they condensed that stuff. I think to save money, so they could like redirect those
Mm.
resources.
Yeah.
makes
So
sense.
it's
Yeah,
kind of
that's
cool. I think they were
interesting.
smart about it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought, to be honest, when I saw, because I saw all these LA events getting canceled due to the fires, and when I heard the Grammys were stopping, I'm like, I don't know if this is a good idea. And I was a little skeptical, and I thought it was gonna be boycotted by, everybody. But
Right.
the way they did it was, I don't know, I thought it was tastefully done. You know,
Oh.
they really made it about like the victims and helping the community. And yeah, I mean, like you said off camera, like it really made it seem like it was more of a fundraiser than it was the Grammys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I thought that was super dope.
1,000%. And they involved people, like look at
Oh,
the
yeah.
album of the year when Beyonce
Mhm.
won. I think it was announced by the LA Fire Department and
Yeah.
the
Yes.
kids too, right?
Yeah.
Mm,
Oh,
So
yeah, that's super dope.
Yeah, I thought that was really special, and I love how, like you said, you're not from LA, so you kind of heard about the tragedies from afar. But during the Grammys, they played a several like video montages of the devastation, and to me, even me, kind of like hearing about this going on in real time when it was happening, just seeing those video montages really, really like broke my heart because
mm,
they showed people going back to their homes, going back to their businesses that are no longer there. So I really thought that that was great just to kind of drive home like, hey, even if you're not from LA and you didn't experience this firsthand, you can see how much devastation, how much loss occurred. And y- I think it really like like reached people,
yeah.
and which also translates to why they were so successful in raising funds
mhm,
Mhm,
last night. So I really thought that every chance they got, they really advocated for the relief.
yeah,
And that made me feel really good about. I
mhm.
think that
yeah,
kind of kept me like, I don't know, kept my spirits up watching the Grammys because award shows can sometimes be like a bore
Yeah.
fest.
yeah.
Totally. Totally.
And like I would say just being in the building at crypto.com during that segment, because the award show is long, so from time to time you'll hear people talking in other sections of the stadium, and it's like, wow, it's loud over there. But during this particular segment, like everyone around us was like so quiet.
Yeah.
Some people crying because it was like, dang, this is
Mm.
Mm,
this is
Mhm.
especially me and my friend Tara, who was right next to me. We're from LA, and we were all here while it was happening, and so as we're watching this, this footage, it's just like it was hitting us,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
all over again. And
right.
so it was nice that everybody came together, and like we're tuned in. We're not just
Yeah,
here just for the
Yeah.
cameras.
right.
Right.
We're here for each other. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
I
love
thought that was a
that.
good look for the Grammys. I
yeah,
think it brought people back, and I don't know, just put more of a positive light back into the Grammys. So I thought it was super dope. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree. I think the Grammys did a lot of positive things this year compared to like
Mhm.
others, and we could definitely get into that.
All right.
Simon, did you want to add anything else?
Yeah, I was just thinking as you guys were talking, like it's like a great example, and they said this I think probably better than I'm going to say it, but
mhm,
of like the power of arts to make a difference in the world.
mhm,
But even like with the Grammy, and you could see that all through history. We built monuments, we paintings and songs that have like changed the landscape of society and brought us through hard times and things like that. But this is like this modern twist, where like the event itself, it's like not just one piece of art, but like all of it, the collective
Mm-hmm.
community coming together and using the power of their hustle, man. Like
Mm-hmm.
everybody who's an artist that goes there, we all hustle,
mhm.
we all work really hard, and we kind of directed that,
Mhm.
those resources to help. That's just cool. I think
Yeah.
we'll look back on it and be like, that was really neat.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Um, Great. So I actually had questions about like the technical side of the Grammys.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, it's all fun and games, and as a viewer, like I love seeing like who got nominated and who wins and all this good stuff. But throughout the show, they were talking about like um, uh, 13,000 voters, 13,000 voting members of the Academy.
Mhm.
How does one actually get to become part of that? So for you guys being part of the academy, like, can you like shed a little bit of light on that process?
Yeah, well, like we touched on earlier, being a voting member, or just a member of the academy, it's you have to be doing this in some capacity, be it a singer, songwriter, musician, label head. whatever. And again, you need 2 referrals to become a member.
Two
And yeah, and
referrals.
just because you get a referral from another musician or executive or something like that doesn't mean you're gonna get in
Yeah.
Has to be 2 referrals from members
from
or
current members.
right.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Like a country club.
I applied like 3 years ago.
Yeah,
Ah.
and
Yeah,
honestly, I didn't even get in my first time,
yeah.
because it's tough. Everybody wants to be a part of the academy. It's cool, it's prestigious, and again, it's like all full of professionals
Mhm.
and who do this at the highest level, and so
Mhm.
it's an honor to really be a part of it. So, yeah, you get those 2 referrals, and you put your application out, and you hope for the best, and
Yeah.
hopefully
Yeah.
they have you. And the cool thing is, I think they increased membership. I thought they said something like 50% like more like that
Oh, yeah.
more people of color,
Yes.
right? More
You said
diversity
forty
Yeah.
included.
percent or
Was
like
it
yeah, yeah.
40 or 50%,
Mhm.
something like that? So they're
Yeah.
really trying to,
Yeah.
you know,
Mhm.
give a voice to people who otherwise never had it before.
Yep.
Mm.
Yeah, I think the CEO said that they added 3,000 women, I think 60% younger voters, and
Hmm.
then 40% people of color.
Yep.
So I thought that was
That's
like
huge.
Yeah.
that was awesome. And then at the same time I thought like, dang, how was it before? Like
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
if you can increase all of those demographics
Yeah.
that much, how what was it like before, you know? So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
just
sure you know
really
the
funny.
answer to
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
I
You know
mean,
definitely
exactly
not
what it
that.
You don't need
considering
to
that,
was.
ask
like
us.
yeah, considering that it was, like, boycotted by,
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
everyone and,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
um, I mean, like we said earlier, like, it's good to see the drastic change,
Hmm.
but it makes you question, like, what was it before?
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
So
just glad that like the Grammys are just moving forward with like their POC initiatives and
Hmm.
being more inclusive. And I know that they have Academy Proud, which is LGBTQ
Hmm.
mm,
initiative, and I just hope that more like events and shows and companies overall just kind of take that
Yeah.
example and be more
Yeah.
progressive as well. Because I mean, we're better off for it, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's good.
mm,
That's really
Yeah. Something
interesting.
Harvey Mason Jr. was talking about was how before he introduced the weekend. Remember when he performed?
Yes.
yes.
Yeah, and he was talking about how Weekend should have boycotted them, and all these
Yes.
articles, Vulture, like all
Hey,
the huge publications
he
came
addressed
out.
it straight up,
Heck
Yeah.
though.
yeah, heck yeah. And the cool thing was that, Harvey and everybody at the Academy, like, listen, they weren't like, nah, forget the weekend. You're out of here,
Yeah.
bro. If you want,
Right.
like, you're out of here.
Mm.
Yeah. They saw the
Yeah.
problem.
Which is
Yeah,
what I'm sure
Wow.
everyone thought, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Because when people think about the gatekeeping of the music industry,
Hmm.
first thing comes to mind is, like, the Grammys.
Hmm.
Mm.
But like you said, the CEO addressed it straight on,
Hmm.
and yeah, I mean, that was a big, bold move to bring the weekend back, and that just says a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to kind of go off that question, I'm curious, like, how does one get even nominated for like a category? It's like, do you have to go through like certain channels? Do you have to like involve certain like you have to be on the radio? Do you have
Hmm.
to be on TV? Do you have to like be on a tour? Like, what is
Yeah.
that? Yeah,
Yeah. I
like, is
mean,
there like a
Do you want to take your
straightforward
time?
way?
yeah. I'll take. Yeah.
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 So I mean, no. I mean, the way to be nominated when you're a member, you can nominate up to 2 albums. So I mean, that it's as simple as that.
Oh.
Once you're a member, you kind of have that a voting member. You kind of have that power. So becoming a member, that could be difficult.
Yeah.
When you were talking, I was remembering like filling out my application, which I thought was extensive. Getting all that information there, and both my kids were sick. There was a snowstorm. Everyone was home from school. I was sick,
Hmm.
and it was due at midnight.
Oh,
And I didn't know what to do, and I couldn't. It wasn't going through. I pushed like
No.
Yeah.
submit, and it wasn't going through. And so I called up the only person I knew, an artist named Lucy Kalantari. She's a kids artist,
Yeah.
dude. And we met like once. I got a number from somebody else.
yeah.
She took my call.
Yeah.
She was sending emails to, I don't know, board members, executives. I don't know. But I was talking to people overseas, and somehow I got that application. And because of her, like at the very last minute, and it just made me think like what's so cool about the Grammys is the Grammy community grows because of the people in it, right? So like
Mm-hmm.
you're nominating other people,
Yeah.
which I love that grassroots kind of
Yeah.
thing. And it's the same with voting, like nominating, the people in the academy nominate, and then members also vote.
Yeah.
So it's truly like your peers are the ones deciding.
Yeah.
Wow.
When I wasn't a member, because I released 3 albums now, and each of them were on the ballot 2022, 23, and 24. But that first year, or even the second year, actually, I wasn't a member of the academy yet, and so I had to send my album to members, and hopefully, if they liked it enough, they'd be down to submit it for me so it could be on the ballot.
Wow,
Yeah. So
that's
so again, as a
dope.
member, you could submit your own album, and then you could also help people who aren't members as well if you think they're they're good enough.
Wow.
Mm.
Yeah.
I can only imagine how many like nominated hopefuls there are in the very beginning and like it just get whittled down to the top 5. That's
It's a lot.
crazy.
Isn't that
Yeah,
crazy?
super
Yeah.
competitive.
It's so I mean, I don't know if you guys could speak to this, but does every vote weigh the same?
Yeah.
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 Everyone
So
gets
it's
an
not
equal.
like, oh, because you're an executive at this label, my vote is actually 5 votes compared to your one
Mm.
vote. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right. Nope.
Yeah. Every vote's the same. Um, I don't know what else to add to
That's
that.
cool. I mean, that was just something I was always curious about because sometimes I see like ads like for your consideration. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, what do I do if I want to consider this person? Like,
Right.
Oh, yeah,
like
that's
does it
true.
matter if I
So,
want to consider them? Like,
well, and that's really big. That was like really big when
Yeah.
you probably like when you first join, because nobody really knows how the
Yeah.
Grammys work, you know.
Hmm.
And so like you'll see all those four considerations. At least in like my hometown, it's like
Mhm.
people don't know if you're nominated or not, so you got to be really careful
Yeah.
the language you use so you don't mislead people.
Mhm.
So that's like a
oh,
huge responsibility as a member to like how you phrase things, right?
Hmm.
Because that first step
Yeah.
is a submission,
Yeah.
and the voting has to take place before the first round of nominations.
Yeah. So most non like academy people, like my parents, for instance, when I started FYCing for your consideration
Yeah.
ning, like for my first album, there my mom was like, "How do I vote?
yeah.
Who do I
This
call?"
ain't American Idol.
They're like your
What I
tita and
Hey,
your
call?
call
tito.
in.
She's all talking about how my relatives in the Philippines wanted to like vote for me so I could get this
Yeah.
Grammy.
Oh
And it's
my
like,
gosh, that's
no,
so
it's not
sweet.
open to you. It's only for Academy members to vote.
So when you're sharing that on social media, like
Yeah.
I saw you do,
Yeah.
that's not targeted to like everyone else to look at and action on.
It's mainly targeted towards fellow voters who have the
Okay.
ability to vote for us and hopefully we get
Okay.
nominated.
Because I
Yeah.
can see the confusion. So
Yeah,
we're like, all right,
yeah.
send like, where do you send me?
Yeah, but it's also at the same time for the fans and for other people in general
100%.
because when you have an album or a song or whatever on the ballot, it's a pretty big deal. It's for a prestigious thing. It's the Grammys, it's part of the EGOT. It's the one, the
Yes.
music.
Hmm.
And so yeah, it's not just yeah, it's mainly for members, but then again, it's almost like a not a bragging thing, but it's a way for people to look at you and take you seriously. Like, oh, you're trying to get a Grammy nomination right
Right.
now?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would say like maybe a lot of people who never really listened to me before listened to me when I started FYCing.
Same.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I mean,
Wow.
it like takes so much work to get to that point.
Yeah.
Like anybody who's in the academy, we've been doing this as careers for a long time.
Mhm.
And like I said, like to become a member is also, I mean, you got to like have people that believe in your music.
Yeah.
You got to go through that application. I'm not going to break all that down, but there's like a lot on there that you kind of
Yeah.
have to have in place. Yeah. So
Awesome.
I
Good to
think it's
know.
a big deal. I mean, I see someone submit an album. I'm like, okay, you're doing this. Like
Yeah.
you're really doing it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting. Wow. Yeah, that's something I just always thought about, but never really got the answer. Thanks,
Now you
but thanks, guys.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think everyone has the misconception of like there's a select 50 people that just picks all the winners,
Right.
and
Right.
yeah, so I don't think people really understand there's thousands of people that have a say in who these winners are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I think um a lot more independent artists are winning too. It's not just like, oh, you have to be signed to a label to
Hmm.
even be nominated and
Mhm.
win, but
Mhm.
Totally.
that's not the case.
Yeah. You know what? I was thinking too, like, it does sound like a big deal to, put music out there, to want to get nominated and to want to win a Grammy. But I will say, as a fan of hip hop, I would probably say that that's my favorite genre. I feel like the hip hop community is a little bit more nonchalant when it comes to like awards and award shows, or do you think that's like a front?
Mm.
Like, do they just want to? Because okay, one of my favorite Tribe
Come
Called
out with
Quest
it. Come out
songs.
with
Yeah,
it.
Opening the can.
There we
so
go.
Pandora.
so back in the 90s, Tribe Called Quest, they had that lyric, I'll never let a statue tell me how
Mm.
nice I am. And
Mm.
as a child, I didn't know what that meant.
Yeah.
But as I grew up, it meant, oh, I wouldn't let an award tell me or validate my talent or my quality of music.
Mm.
And so I want to take Tribe Called Quest again. they made that song, and then fast forward, they I can't remember the name of the album now, but it was released after Fife passed away, and I think they got snubbed for a hip hop nomination, and Q-Tip got really sensitive about that.
Mm.
But I
I
was like,
remember that.
but I thought you won't let a statue tell me how nice you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like maybe just, your personal opinion, like do you feel like certain artists of a certain genre are more or less nonchalant than others? 'Cause I feel like a lot of like rappers are kind of like whatever,
I
but then when
agree.
they get nominated, it's like, yeah, vote for me.
Right.
You
I
know.
agree to an extent, and I think that's why who was it that drank champagne out of their? I think all of them.
Mhm.
I think was it
Probably
Drake?
Drake,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Probably
Or
all of
and then someone else took pictures of the Grammys on like in the toilet or something, and
them.
um
Yeah.
all those things.
Right.
So yeah, I think, and these are all hip hop acts. I think I'd have to agree with you there, though. I see it.
Yeah. You probably need to speak to that.
I think end of the day, it's all subjective, you know. So who's to say that someone's music is better than others? Like I've had all three of my albums on the ballot, and because I didn't get nominated, does that mean my music sucks? Like relative to everyone else's? Like
Mm,
absolutely not.
mhm,
I think
mhm.
very highly of my music because I know how much time and work I put into my stuff, you know.
Hmm.
So it's tough to say. You know, there's a lot of really good music out there too that you don't even realize is out there
Yeah.
until you hear it. Think
Yeah.
Yeah.
about when you're on Spotify and you click on like
Mhm.
discover mode or whatever, and you come across all these artists who are so good that you never even heard of, and you go to their pages and they don't
Yeah.
even have many followers, but they're so good.
Hmm.
You know, so it's I don't really. It's tough to answer. Um, or to
Yeah.
speak on their behalf on, the rappers who might not, like the award and stuff. Cause I don't know. And also too, at the end of the day, it is, it's peer based voting, and I don't know, like,
Yeah.
it's hard to speak on it, you know?
Right, right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's like, I think it's generally an emotional thing to
Hmm.
put yourself out there like that as an artist.
Yeah.
When you're competing for this trophy, and I agree, it's like not about necessarily about the quality of your music, and yet, it kind of has to be as well. But
Mhm, mhm.
there's 13,000 voters,
Yeah.
So I mean, like
Yes.
I appreciate that the Academy really is doing their best to
Yeah.
make this an even playing field,
Yeah.
because I think that that seems like so hard to come
Yeah.
up with the mechanisms to actually make that work. It's kind of impressive. But I think like
Hmm.
and I also think like the hip hop community, like so many, I don't think it's just the hip hop community. I mean, I think this is like a sentiment of artists, who get into this.
Hmm.
But I think that like we're artists, we reflect, we comment on stuff that doesn't,
Ah,
seem
mhm.
like flesh out, And
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
think like
Mhm.
I think there's truth in that, Like a statue does not speak to your worth or the worth of your art.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I'm with Ronnie Boy. Like
Yeah.
I'm really involved in the children's music community over the last years. Some of my favorite artists I've never even met in person. And I met them like Tallest Kid in the Room is a band, and I just met this band, the Hat Ladies, here in LA.
Ooh.
I'd never heard their music. It is so good. So I mean, I think the Grammys is a great platform
Yeah.
to get your music heard. I
Right.
think that's cool, and to do it
Yeah.
to community, that's what it means to me.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
I appreciate artists who like, kind of bring that idea to the forefront to, because otherwise it'd be pretty. There's one winner in each category,
Yeah.
What about everybody
Mhm.
else
Yeah.
and like all that work?
Right.
So I think it's a matter of perspective.
Yeah, I agree.
Good point. I love how you mentioned that, the Grammys is a good way to kind of like, I guess, explore and to discover new artists. Like that's one like huge, like it's the biggest night of music basically. And one thing that I kind of um peeped out, I'm like, Khruangbin is nominated for Best New Artist, and I had to look them up. They've been around since 2010,
Uh-huh.
but they're in the new artist category. So, Ron, what you're saying is that there's so much music out there that I mean, there could be like a ton of music that you would love, but it's just not discovered yet. So,
Mm.
I think this kind of goes to show that even though Khruangbin has been around for 15 years, the Grammys are recognizing like, yo, you need to peep this band out. They're actually pretty amazing. They're considered a new artist probably because like they're now like breaking out.
Mhm.
But so at first I was like, why are they nominated for best new artist? But at this like in the same flip of the coin, I'm like, I'm glad they're getting that recognition
Right.
because they're
Mhm.
dope. So
Yeah.
Like how about like
yeah, I
Doce
agree.
shouting out Tampa on the
Yes,
Yeah.
stage?
Doechii.
Doechii
I
so good.
love
Yes.
Tampa. I love,
Uh,
that. I
I've
love
been
the
there
West
once.
Coast
I
of
like it
Florida.
there. Yeah,
Yeah. I thought that was
Sarasota.
so cool. Like, when is that? There's so many artists there. I'm sure who we don't know about. Like, that's
Yeah,
huge to get
Yeah.
that shout out from the state, from such a elevated
Yeah.
stage.
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
Having everything you said about them being around for 10 years or whatever, but why are they in the new artist category? It's like
Mm.
you almost wonder, should they change it to new breakout
Right,
artists
right. Yes.
versus
Right.
new
Right.
artists? If we've been doing
Mm-hmm.
15, 20 years doing music, how are you considered
Yeah.
new? If you know what I mean?
That's a good
Right.
point.
I
That's
don't
a
know.
great point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I guess because their sound is like so niche. And when I first discovered them, is because my coworker put me onto them. I'm like, what's this? Like, he just put it onto the speakers at work. And I'm like, yo, what's this? And he told me who they were. I'm like, wow, I can't even like pinpoint what this genre is.
Yeah.
Mm.
So maybe that's another thing where it's like, oh, we're discovering new sounds, new music, new, categories, new subgenres. So like, I guess it just kind of takes a while to like build and to get noticed by 13,000 people, right? So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know what? I kind of want to talk about Doechii for a second. You
Yeah.
mentioned Doechii. I think she's so dope, and like the artists that won, they definitely took. I guess most of them. I won't say not all, but most of them took the opportunity to um shout something out that's important to them during their acceptance speeches.
Yes.
So Doechii, not only did she say, go to Tampa, there's a lot of talent in
Yeah.
Tampa, she also said, to Black girls and Black women out there, don't let anybody tell you that you can't do anything. Don't let them tell
Yeah.
you that you're too dark, you're too loud, you're too emotional.
Hmm.
And moments like that make me wonder why I don't watch more award shows because I love it. So as far as like moments of the night, how about this? Like, who had your favorite like moment? Like, as far as like speeches go, who had your favorite? Who made the
Ooh.
best quote of the night? I guess you could say, and that resonated with you.
Dang,
I know you gotta go
Hold
first.
on, you gotta give me a second. There
Yeah.
was a lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Right?
Now you guys can go
I can.
first.
Well, I can go
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Go for it.
so Alicia Keys.
Oh,
Oh,
I
yeah.
was
Yeah.
debating
Yes.
between that one.
Oh my gosh. Like,
Yeah.
so she got honored with the oh my gosh, the Global Artist of the Year.
Mhm.
I'm I have like chicken scratch notes. Like, and again, at the end of her speech, she definitely said that, DEI isn't
Mm-hmm.
harmful, it's a gift.
Mhm.
Um, so I love that she took that stance
Yeah.
and she just told people, what it is. And, inclusivity doesn't hurt anybody. It
Mhm.
only helps people. So that was one of my favorite like speech moments of the night.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Personally, I like Chapel
Yep,
Roan's.
that was mine.
Yeah.
Because she was, like you said, calling it what it is and
Mhm.
straight up
Mhm.
talking to the label heads
Yeah.
and saying, yo, we like, we die for you, we dedicate
Mm-hmm.
our whole freaking lives, our
Yeah.
blood, sweat, and tears into this craft. And we try to take care of you only to have you not take care of us.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I love that I was getting chills as she was talking, like in the arena,
Yeah.
and it was a great thing to say. And I hope, like, on the other, like, looking at it from a label perspective, it's tough to regulate something like this,
Oh yeah, for
if
sure.
there's no union. Like,
Mm.
I'm part of the Screen Actors Guild as an actor, and we have our rules set in place, but like, this is a different industry, it's music. And so how do you make this viable and profitable? How do you not lose money?
Yeah.
So
Right.
it's
Mhm.
tough. I wouldn't know the first thing to do, how to make something like this happen,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
giving people health insurance and all this stuff. It's
Yeah.
I don't know, but it was very powerful though. I loved what she said.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Same.
gosh.
Yeah.
People
I
were
think
crying after that.
yeah,
Sure.
and I think that was the most impactful moment for me because she was speaking on behalf of all artists.
Yeah.
Like you could see all the artists kind of nodding their heads, like, yeah, like everyone agrees.
Yeah.
And she said something that every artist is afraid to say.
Yeah.
And I thought that was powerful, and that she had like the courage to do that.
Yeah.
That speaks volumes.
She spoke from like a personal experience. She said she
Right.
got
Oh
dropped from her
yeah,
label during
Oh,
COVID, I think, and she
yeah,
couldn't.
Which was like not that long ago. So it's like
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
like
within the past
visceral
5 years,
and
4 years.
something most of us have experienced or
Yeah.
know someone who has.
yeah. That the fact that she brought up a personal experience just made her words that much more powerful.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. Other than the Tampa
Mhm.
shout out, which I loved, West Coast of Florida. I think my favorite speech was actually in the premiere when the children's artist that won, the Lucky Diaz Family Jam Band,
Yeah.
they all got up there, and Lucky was like giving, and he had a great speech. He was like saying some cool things about music, bringing bringing us together and reuniting us. And then, man, I don't remember the exact words, but he said something like, we had no idea, that our album could do this, something like that. And then Alicia took the mic. She
His
hadn't said
wife,
anything.
right?
His wife, yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. His wife, Alicia, took the mic. She's also my kindy fashion hero. Just gonna throw that out
Yeah.
there. But and she was like, yeah, we did. She's like, it's like blood, sweat, and tears that we've put into this. We've been working at this so long.
Yeah.
Man, and for me, that was like a breath of fresh air, just because like that's real. It's
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
any one of us, if we got up on stage, it might be a shock, but like what wouldn't be missing would be the work that was put in because
Yeah.
everybody in that room
Yeah.
has put a lot in. And I feel like she kind of like
Yeah.
shined a light on that
Yeah.
and, gave it that angle.
Yeah.
So anyway, the premiere is different. It's like artists, that really spoke to me. Yeah.
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 That makes me think of
Wow.
my last album, how one of the topics I wanted to discuss in my songs were self-love.
Mm.
Because when you win an award, you go on these, you give your speech and you're supposed to be humble. And sometimes that comes at the cost of not giving yourself props for the hard work, the blood,
Yeah.
sweat, and tears that you put into your craft. So I love that Alicia was like, I witnessed this. We worked so hard. It makes you think of, remember when Snoop,
I was
I
gonna say,
think
yeah.
he was
Yeah.
getting
Oh,
was it his star, his Walk of Fame? And he was like,
Yeah.
I'd like to thank
My
me.
me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd like to thank me for not giving up. I'd like to thank me for, tuning out all the noise and all the haters. I'd like to
Right.
thank me. And
Yeah.
I didn't look at that as cocky, call it what it is. I'm like, yes, he's giving himself props as you should,
Yeah.
you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah, give yourself credit
Yeah.
for, putting
Yeah.
out like amazing work. Definitely have
It's
to.
almost more encouraging because it's like, I think there are so many factors in winning a Grammy
Hmm.
for sure, but it does kind of say like, we didn't just waltz up here,
Mhm.
This wasn't just handed
Mm.
to us.
Yeah.
Like we've been working, and I think like there is a there is a humility in that, and an equalizing to like framing things in that way,
Mm.
as opposed to like I can't believe this is happening to me, and everyone's like, yeah, but
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
what? Yeah.
That's true. I agree.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so as far as like Grammys go, one of my favorite things to look forward to are the live performances. And I can name, I don't know, so many like great moments like during all the live performances of last night, but I want to know what you guys' favorites were.
What's up?
No.
Talk
Go.
to us.
I didn't watch all of it, all the performances, to be honest.
Excuse me, you
But
had an
Cut that out.
assignment.
Cut
I
that
know,
out.
so
Cut
sorry,
that.
guys.
You
But
said you love the Grammys, everything. You weren't even
I didn't,
watching.
I didn't even say I
Watch
That
the
was
loved
my
it.
first
highlights.
time watching it
Flag
all
that for the
throughout.
editor, man.
I just saw it on social media, and that was
You
it.
watched the highlights. You watched the 15 seconds clip.
No,
No.
I watched the weekends. It was cool.
Yeah.
I mean, um, but Billie Eilish was super dope to me.
Yeah.
That one, and her performing with her brother and everything, and it was like a tribute to her hometown. I thought that was super dope, and that she could do no wrong in my eyes.
Dude, I don't know what they
I love that
showed on
too.
TV, but like that was mind blowing to me to see that. So first of all, I'm like, hard tickets were like nosebleed
Yeah.
all the way to the side. So I mean, I'm like seeing this was actually kind of cool. I saw all the stage people working the stage in the back,
Mm.
changing stuff out. You could see it through the curtain.
Oh yeah, we don't see that.
Dude,
That's
but
so
like
cool.
everything on camera, they built that whole scene in the woods,
Yeah,
like the grass, the dirt.
Yeah.
That was really on stage. And so you're like looking, because one screen you see what people are seeing on TV,
Right.
and then you see the live performance, and I'm just like zooming in on my phone, like, this is nuts. This is how I
Yeah.
don't know. It blew my mind actually a little
that's
bit.
that movie magic that.
It
Yeah.
totally was.
Yeah.
You know what? I love that the Billie Eilish performance was the first performance of the night because her song is Birds of a Feather.
Mhm.
She's from LA. Her backdrop and her stage was decked out to look like, California nature. In the background in the video, they were showing baby pictures of her and Phineas, like
Mhm.
kind of like
Yeah.
in that same kind of spot in nature. And I thought that, wow, like we just finished, talking about raising money for the wildfires and, just uniting everyone in LA. So just having her sing that song with her family, her brother, in a California backdrop was just like it was perfect. It was a perfect opener. It was a
Right.
perfect like I don't know, opening performance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure, for sure.
Uh, I don't. There's honestly so many good ones. It's hard to choose. Like I don't want to say Dochi, but it was Dochi's performance, and I saw her perform at the Grammy Museum in a really intimate setting, and
Cool.
she killed it just as hard too.
Oh
Man.
yeah, I remember seeing that.
But I guess some of the other ones I like Bruno and Lady Gaga singing
Oh
California
yeah.
Dreaming, right?
Yeah, yeah, that was
Oh.
That was
amazing.
really dope. I liked when Cynthia Revo sang was it Fly Me to the Moon?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've never
Woo!
heard that. I've sung that song so many times, like in karaoke, but like when she sang it, I was like, wow, I've never heard
Right.
she's better than me. No, but I was like, I was like, I've
Yeah.
never heard anyone sing this song like that. It was so pure and beautiful, and
Yeah.
I don't know. There's so
Yeah,
many good
dude.
ones. What'd you like, Simon?
I mean,
Was it Billy?
Stevie Wonder. I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
Mm.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
I loved a lot of the
Yeah.
performances. I will say this with the premiere again. One of the performers, Joe Bonamassa, played. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's a
Mm.
blues artist.
Mhm.
I went to school with him.
Wow.
He
What?
was in my New York Mills Elementary K through 12.
Wow.
Wow.
Graduating classes were like 70
Yeah.
kids,
Wow.
dude. And I don't remember much because he was a little older than me,
Yeah.
but I do remember him being a sick guitar player even then. And it was kind of, I knew, I've kind of followed him a little bit over the years, but I didn't know he was coming on stage.
Yeah.
That was kind of crazy and really
Yeah.
cool. And he did a great job. So.
I wish you guys could see, like, if you weren't, because the premiere ceremony is streamed online.
Mhm.
But they have some really, really good stuff. Great awards and really good performances as well. So,
Mhm.
they had one with Wayne Brady
Yeah.
and
Oh.
Scott from Pentatonics, and
Yeah.
who else was in, like,
Ooh.
Deborah
Bella
Cox.
Fleck, yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw the
Yeah.
feed of you guys posting from there. I was like, I
Yeah.
didn't see this on
Wow.
TV.
Yeah, and it was good,
It's,
dude.
it's good. Man. It's a cool.
Dang, I should have tuned into you guys' Instagram
You
while
know
I
what
was
I'm saying?
watching.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know what? Let me like take back what I said. I think the first performance of the night was from Dawes. Dawes with like the all star,
Oh,
like
you're right.
John Legend and
Oh, you're right, because it was a
Sheryl
tribute
Crow.
performance. Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
was the first performance. So
Mm.
sorry about that.
Yeah.
No,
And that
that's
was
all.
great too. I love LA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We love
Yeah.
it.
So good.
I
Love it.
But you know what? I want to say, surprisingly, one of my favorite performances of the night was Chapel Roan. I never really gave her
Oh,
music a
dude.
listen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the rodeo clowns as backup dancers, I was like, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, it was so fun.
Yeah.
And she had that big pink pony.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dang, this song is so
Right.
catchy.
I'm such a super fan.
Yeah.
Are you?
I kind of am. I mean, I can count on two hands the number of times I've used her songs in my reels on Instagram.
Hey, I get it though. I think
Every
after
Every
that
time it just
performance,
hits,
though-
man. She's so
Amazing.
good.
Her speech made us like her even
Yes.
more.
No, it totally
you
did.
know?
At least for me, it did.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I love how they played a little bit of like a small video of each artist, maybe just the new artists. They played a video of each of them, and she was telling her story about how she's from Missouri. She didn't feel like she fit in because she was gay, and I'm like, okay, all right, I'm listening.
Mhm.
And then her speech when she won, of course, we just talked about that. I was like, dude, this girl is like, she's amazing. She's awesome, and she's advocating for artists that are in
Mhm.
her shoes, and she's advocating for LGBTQ community and all this stuff. I'm like, yo, I'm
Yeah.
here for it
No.
for sure.
Yeah.
She doubled her fan base last
Oh,
night. For
Yeah.
Oh.
absolutely.
Oh, dude. Benson Boone.
Oh my!
Those flips.
The
dude.
backflips.
Yeah.
Oh,
Parkour.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, what
Yeah.
is happening?
I
That was
was
crazy.
yeah. I went. I caught like the tail end of it because I was hungry, so I went to get some food, some nachos.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But then
yeah.
I came back in, and I heard him singing from outside where I was getting food, and then I see him flip, and I was like, what?
Whoa.
And I'm like, do you guys know how risky that is to do that?
Super.
Not just in general, but in live television.
There's
You
no
think-
bigger
you think that was
platform.
rehearsed though, or that he got caught up in the moment?
I'm sure he planned it,
We've
but I'm
gotta
just like,
plan that, yeah.
he could have literally like broke his neck doing that, and he did it twice, right? He did it off the
He did it
piano and then
twice.
one on the
and
floor.
then one
Yeah.
just walking along the stage,
It's insane, like
Dude.
how much confidence you have to do that.
and
'cause
to
it's-
still be like singing
and
perfectly.
sing, yeah, he didn't seem out of
Yes.
breath or
He's
anything. Like he
On
was
key
good.
and everything. You know what that reminded me of?
Miguel? No. I was thinking the same thing.
Oh my
Miguel, what he,
Oh, when he jumped in, he hit
What
somebody.
what he thought he
He
could do
missed,
it?
Yeah.
and he landed on the woman in the
Yeah.
pit.
Did you see that, Simon?
I didn't
So
see
there was a
it.
Miguel performance where there was like people in the audience, and
Yeah.
Miguel wanted. I don't know if he planned this or if he was just feeling it in the moment, but he jumped to do another platform and he landed on a girl.
On a girl's head.
I must not have
It
been
was
in there.
short.
He decapitated the fan.
Like,
It was so
Dude,
bad.
I
Oh my
think
gosh,
Literally.
dude.
That was the
yo,
Grammys too, right?
Was
I think
it?
it was. I think it was.
I need
But
to run that back.
Wow.
I think what happened was I think Miguel said that when he rehearsed it, he was wearing different shoes or something like
Also,
that.
it was rehearsed. I thought he was in the moment. It's
Some
like I
some
could do this, and then he
I think that's what he
should have wore
said.
your sneakers.
You gotta
He shoulda wore-
rehearse
he
in
said I didn't have
performance
my J's
clothes.
on, so I couldn't
Right,
clear
yeah.
Oh my,
the.
that's hilarious.
He
Oh
literally
my,
decapitated the girl. Her head was
oh
gone. It was on the
man.
floor. She
Yeah.
couldn't pick it up.
Hey, he could never live that down.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh. Never. No, I literally forgot about that moment until you started describing Benson's performance. Like, this reminds me of
Because
someone.
it could have happened that way.
Easily,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
he took off, and
Yes.
what if he slipped and he didn't get good footing like
Right.
before taking off? He could have
Mhm.
hurt himself, and I'm like, wow, this guy's balls,
He
man.
is.
You know,
Yeah.
My favorite part of his performance though was when Nikki Glazer and Heidi Klum tore his tux off.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
everybody loved that.
Okay.
People loved
And then
that.
he showing his like Elton John type of jumpsuit. Like I loved it. But
Right.
I also really love Nikki Glazer and Heidi Klum. So I was like, yay. That's
Yeah.
all.
It was fun.
Um,
It was well done.
Or if you didn't give your favorite performance, you
I
just
did.
kind of piggybacked off of everyone
Billie
else.
Eilish one.
Yeah.
That was the
Oh,
first
that's
one.
right.
Yeah.
Come on,
bad.
guys.
It
I'm
honestly
My
was.
watching.
bad, my
I
bad.
like I like everyone's. The Sabrina Carpenter. I saw her in concert
It was really
before
good.
too, and she
She-
has a great voice, dude.
She got a lot of
Yeah.
backlash on her performance though.
Did
Like,
she really?
Did she?
something about like, oh, she had bad lighting. Her dancers were off.
Oh no, that
Oh,
was
really?
intentional. Because
Oh,
she did a vaudeville
Oh.
type like
Yeah.
show tunes performance where she just was doing like Carol Burnett, where it's like I'm gonna make fun of myself. So
Okay.
she was like chasing the spotlight and she like twirled the
Right,
baton and lost
right. I
it.
saw that. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
yeah.
People
She was
took that
going down the
literally
stairs.
People don't know the
Oh.
history, dog.
People don't know this.
dumb.
because like people on
Dumb.
social media and on like
Like, she
YouTube
looks
were
lost
giving
kinda
her a lot
thing,
of
right?
crap for that because like, oh, she didn't rehearse and like
Nah, dude, she's
So
professional.
if it-
funny.
but yeah, it's not. I guess it was
Yeah.
intentional.
Oh, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And like there's a part where
That
she
was
had
good.
like a facade of a house in the front like fell down and she's like, oh, she
Yeah,
got scared.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
That was
people, are you saying
all
people thought
part of
that
It's like,
Yeah.
of course,
it accidentally
So it
fell
worked.
over?
People like dancers missing
Yeah.
their cue. It was
Right.
all part of it. It's
Yeah.
vaudeville, baby.
Even when I saw the thing fall over, I was like, oh no,
Showbiz.
that I didn't even question it. I was like, oh, that's
Yeah.
part of it.
See, so people were like clipping just those parts and saying, oh yeah,
Like
she
her stage
bombed.
fell apart.
Yeah,
People got punked.
people don't have the
Yeah.
context of like,
Got
oh, that's
punked.
actually part of it.
They
Right.
got punked
Hey,
for
man.
real.
Yeah.
Hey
Got me
man,
because
have a little
You
fun. Are
thought she
you?
was just bad?
Yeah.
Nah, man, she's
Oh.
good, dude.
yeah,
Oh
she's
my
so good.
gosh.
I take it
Maybe
back.
that was clickbait. Like
no,
the
it
headline.
definitely was. Now,
Yeah.
I mean, now I
Yeah.
think of it.
Yep.
Got you.
Got me.
Influenced.
Influence.
All right. I'm trying to like really scrub. This can be edited, but I'm trying to scrub through my notes to see if there's anyone else whose performance deserves like a little bit of love.
Mhm.
Shakira. Oh
man.
my.
Wow, she looked great.
Dude, I'm such
First
a-
She
of all,
looks the
Such a
same.
big Shakira.
yeah.
Chaperone
fan.
Shakira.
I know,
Yeah.
I know. Well,
Oh
I
my
grew up
God.
90s divas.
Oh,
I have 3 sisters, and
Hell
those
yeah.
are all my musical influences, so I'm still kind of in that.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I love
Like
that.
context. That
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah. I love how she started off her first song. She was just like doing her thing solo on that round stage, like doing her belly dancing thing. Oh
Oh
my
yeah,
God.
she said.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's like a
Right?
slinky. Oh my And then she did her song. Oh gosh, I don't want to say it in Spanish because I'm gonna mess it up. But like, "Women Don't Cry, We Make Money." That's like the title of her album, and I guess that's the title track. So she got on the stage and she was dancing with all of her dancers, and she was just like keeping up. And she's almost 50 years old. So
I was about to say, I was
Dang,
gonna ask,
really?
like, how old is she now?
she's 48.
Have you seen
Wow.
that documentary? I think it's on
Crazy.
Netflix about her tour.
No.
Oh, dude,
Mm-mm.
she works hard. She
Yeah.
has her hand in all the production
Yeah.
and her performance. She's actually like the real deal. She's
Yeah.
really
Oh.
amazing.
I was like
I
just
love it.
surprised at how she looked. I was like, dang, she looks like she hasn't aged. Like she looked
Yeah.
great.
At
Yeah.
all, at all, at all. And she's like, I want to thank my kids. I'm like, damn, she got kids too. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, she's amazing. I love her
She's
ever
like,
since
I'd like to thank me.
Yeah.
for my kid, me for
Self-love,
looking
my
baby.
good.
workout routine, my nutrition.
Self love.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I love her. All right, so let's talk about like moments that were not performances and that were not, people winning awards. Let's talk about like red carpet type of controversy. All right.
You guys
So-
allowed to talk about this?
I only heard of one controversy.
Which one?
Tell us about it.
Kanye's wife, that one.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Wow, yeah. I woke up. I didn't even know what happened.
Same.
And so I woke up this morning to a few texts from friends like, "Yo, did you see what Kanye and his like wife did on the carpet?" And I was like, "No." And then I
Yeah.
googled it and I was like, "What?"
Yeah. But they know what they're doing. I feel like they know what they're doing. They
Yeah.
knew something like that would get, I think it's free publicity for them to
Right.
Yeah.
show up uninvited like that, and it's a way for them to get their shine from the Grammys, even though they weren't part of it.
I
You
think
know what I mean?
I thought I saw like on TMZ, like there were conflicting reports. Like they said that they were kicked out,
I heard
or
that
and
too.
they said cops escorted them. But then the latest update I saw was that they weren't like cops didn't escort them out. They just left. So they went to the red carpet and and bounced after
Yeah.
that.
See,
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think that's what I read online. So
yeah, there's so many different stories that I don't know. It's hard to
Yeah.
know what to
yeah.
believe, but I think for me, was the baby face
Oh man, I
stuff.
Yes.
just saw that before I
Wow.
came here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Dang.
I don't even have any
Ouch.
words to kind of describe. Just because obviously me being a '90s kid, big Babyface fan, just the disrespect and it just not. I'm not mad at the fact that that happened, but the what that tells us about music today.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It's like someone's more important based off of clicks and relevance over artistry.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't know, but I get it from the journalist side and why they did what they did to get Chaperone's interview while she was passing by.
Yeah,
But because that's their job.
yeah,
Right.
But the bigger picture is, you know, the clicks and likes and relevance is over artistry. That's the bigger picture, and I don't know. I just think it's sad.
I think it's probably always been that way too. You know.
mhm.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it just could have been handled better. Like they should
Yeah.
have had another person tell Chaperone to hold up real quick because they're about to interview you next.
Yeah,
Totally.
You know, and
Definitely.
she's multi-nominated, she won, and all that, and so they should have had someone say hold up real quick, and
yeah,
because the people who are interviewing Babyface, like they don't know, they're just like, oh shoot, nominee, come over here, so
Right.
it's
yeah,
like I don't even know. It was
yeah.
sad
That's
though.
why, like, I get it.
Oof.
That's the business,
Yeah,
but yeah,
But it's messed up.
it's
Yeah.
messed up.
yeah,
It could have been handled better.
yeah,
Yeah.
Dang. Babyface, dude, he's responsible for so many hits, so many timeless classics, and to kind of just be dismissed, in that moment
Mhm.
mhm.
while he was talking too. So that was kind of like an extra layer of disrespect
Ouch.
because he was answering whatever question they asked him, and then they're just like chaperone, chaperone, chaperone,
Yeah,
and he's like,
yeah,
"Oh, okay, you go do that."
Yeah,
And he
Yeah.
handed the mic back. I was like,
yeah,
"Dude, you don't do that to
yeah. I
Babyface."
know.
And Babyface kind of has had it hard. This kind of just reminds me of when he did a concert with Anita Baker,
mhm.
and I think she was running late or something was happening with the timing. She decided to cut his segment out of the concert
Oh,
completely.
His
What?
segment, not even.
Yeah, because I
Wow.
think he was
like
supposed to be
his
opening
set.
for her. Yeah,
Wow.
exactly. His set, like, okay, you're not gonna do tonight.
Yeah,
And he was just like, "What?" And then so many people were upset at Anita because they went there specifically for him.
for
So it's like,
Babyface. Yeah,
why is Babyface getting the short end of the stick?
Hmm.
yeah,
With
Yeah,
everything nowadays. But yeah, that definitely
Yeah.
was one moment that stuck out to me. That was like, damn, that's harsh. And like
yeah.
to your point, is like, what do they think of us? You know what I mean? What do they think about the artists that, were whose peak wasn't yesterday? It was maybe 10, 20 years
Hmm.
ago.
yeah,
And and Irv, I think you mentioned off camera, like those reporters were probably told by their bosses, these are the must get artists to
Oh yeah.
interview. And they probably just didn't have they should have had more tact.
yeah.
But they're like, oh, this is our opportunity. If we don't get Chaperone on the mic, then we're gonna get in trouble, and
Right,
we're not gonna be invited to do this again from our boss.
right.
Yeah.
So it's all. I just hope that Babyface didn't take it as hard as I would have taken it if I was
Yeah,
him.
No, I think
You know.
more
Thought none of
R&B
his own
heads
song.
that saw it from a distance probably took it harder than he did.
Yeah.
right.
Because I mean, we don't have context around that situation. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure he does, but
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, it just sucks to kind of just see that from someone who we consider a hero.
Like a
You know
ship
what I mean?
legend.
Yeah,
Totally.
yeah,
Absolutely.
but yeah.
Yeah. Weird.
Yeah. Well, speaking of legendary, you know what was legendary? Jaden Smith's hat.
Oh man.
The castle hat. Yeah.
Castle hat. So I didn't watch any of the red carpet. So the stuff that we're talking about now with Kanye and Babyface and stuff, I saw after the fact. But when when Doechii won Best Rap Album, they panned over to Jaden and Willow Smith, and
Oh,
Jaden
that's
had a
funny. I'm
cap
just
on his
seeing it
head.
Castle.
now.
Castle hat.
I was
That's
like,
You didn't see
ridiculous.
it?
what
No,
the
I didn't
heck?
see
Oh,
it.
Pull
you
it
gotta
up.
pull it
You gotta,
up.
you
Yeah.
definitely gotta pull it up.
He
But
actually in the premiere ceremony, he was sitting next to us, like closer to
Isn't that
Simon. He
crazy?
was probably maybe like 6, 7 seats away from
I
Simon
didn't
to his
even
right.
know it till after. Isn't
Yeah.
that crazy?
because he had a castle on his
because
head.
he was dressed like a
Yeah.
Wait, so
castle.
he was wearing
So
that.
so him and Willow were literally in our row, like 10 seats away from
Oh
me.
my god.
Oh
Yeah.
my
And he at the
gosh.
time he had the castle. I think he was on his lap.
Oh, okay,
And I
okay.
think Willow was next to or on his left or whatever. But we were like, "What is that?" And like
Oh
we were
my
just
Yeah.
asking each other, "What is that on his lap?" And it was
Yeah.
apparently it was a castle that he was wearing on the red carpet.
Oh,
I
that's
That was
funny.
mean,
that's great.
yeah.
Uh,
Can we talk about the other fashion though? Maybe because I'm a girl and I like fashion, but Beyonce's dress.
mm,
Oh my gosh, it was so beautiful. I love it
Yeah.
because it was like paisley, but all beaded. So it was like
Mhm.
new, like her skin tone, and like the beads were like
Mm,
bronze and pearly. And I
yeah.
was like, oh my god, what a beautiful
I wouldn't
dress!
expect anything less
I know.
from
She's
her.
always
Right?
class,
Oh,
Yeah.
man. She's always fire.
so good. How
Yeah.
did you guys feel about her winning Best Country Album?
Mm.
I mean, the first thing that popped in my head was like, I didn't always do children's music, like Taylor, she won a country album award. I'm like, why is this a big deal? I would have
Mhm.
never thought in a million years, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, that my music would have looked like it does now. And and I'm so invested in this genre now. And it's like, it's my entire business, identity, it's like so much of that. So I'm
Mhm.
like, yeah, and her album was freaking amazing.
Oh,
So like,
Yeah.
what? I don't
I
know.
I agree that she deserves to win, but at the same time, I could see how it could be a slap in the face to soul country, like solely country artists.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Mhm. Mhm.
Because it's like, who's this coming to take an award that's meant for us,
right.
and she's not, from this genre. So I could see how they could feel that way, but I mean, I thought her album deserved it.
Yeah.
Definitely. Did you listen to the album, Ron?
I listened to a good chunk of it. Yeah, I thought it was pretty
Mhm.
cool. It was different,
For
and that's what I
sure.
liked about it. And I don't know
Yeah.
if maybe that kind of opinion pisses off like country artists in general. I don't know, but from what I listen to, from my limit, because I don't listen to country music that much.
Yeah.
So from what I heard, I was like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like I dig it.
I will say, like, her song with Miley Cyrus is so beautiful. It's such a pretty song. And then, like, she had so many, like, she had, um, gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Oh, why am I blanking out on her
So many
name?
what?
Jolene.
Oh,
Dolly Parton?
Dolly Parton, thank you.
Oh yeah.
Dolly Parton was on her album. Miley Cyrus was on the
Yeah.
album. Post Malone was on the
That's
album.
true.
right.
Some
She,
cool
yeah,
collabs.
she's had so many like bona fide country artists on
That's
her
true.
Yeah.
album, and so for me to even learn that she got nominated, I was like, oh, it's not not a huge deal. And then when she actually won, she was like, I want to thank all the country artists that accepted this album, and I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
Because I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure, like, while she was making, even though she's from Texas, she's from Houston, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's it's country everywhere there.
Sure.
Right.
She definitely kind of knew, like, this would have, like, stirred the pot a little bit.
Oh
So,
yeah. I
her
mean,
to,
just see her reaction when
yeah,
she.
she was
Yeah.
like, and her daughter was like,
Yeah.
get up. Mom.
Yeah. I mean, I think it would be problematic for any genre shift like that, for like
Mhm,
such a
mhm.
big name. And,
Yeah.
you're going to feel like it's a grab, if you're like in that genre, because everybody's working hard,
Yeah.
and it does feel like an opportunity lost. But,
Right.
Yeah, but let
Yeah.
me, I guess, stir the pot a little bit.
Mm-mm.
uh-oh.
Where do you think? I mean, Beyonce finally won this year, right? Do you think Jay Z's rant last year had any influence on her winning this year? Remember when Jay Z last year was like, he was, I forget what the situation was, but he was accepting an award. Then he shouted out how Beyonce never wins,
Oh, yeah. I
and
remember that.
he
That was
was
intense.
he was putting a negative light on the Grammys for
Mhm.
not having, Beyonce win whatever award it was.
Yep.
And then they probably took that into consideration into giving her the award this year. Do you think that rant influenced that at all this time around?
Hmm.
Honestly, I just think it's tough to say unless you ask all 13,000 voting members,
Right.
like,
Yeah.
hey, what were your thoughts on Beyonce? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
how do you, I don't know.
Yeah.
You
Because it's
know,
like, it made me think, like, if Jay-Z didn't do that, if he didn't put that light on the situation,
like if she would have won.
yeah, she would have won at all. Would have been a repeat of previous years.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah. So you're talking about her actual like best album of the year
mhm.
is what she won. That was the first time she won that award, and
Yes.
I was shocked. I mean, again, I never really paid attention to the Grammys like that closely to where I
Yeah.
didn't know that that was Beyonce's first like album of the year
I
award.
think after 4 nominations for the
Yeah.
category. Yeah.
But yeah, I think actually speaking out, and bringing awareness to like, hey, how come it seems a little fishy that my wife's been nominated so many times, but she hasn't won
Mhm.
best album yet. And
Right.
I think that just like made people aware, and it was like,
Mhm.
okay, maybe let's revisit when she drops another album, see
Right.
how good it is, and maybe it is the best album. So
I'll
yeah, I think
I'll say that
yeah.
in just watching all of the different categories like last night, there were so many times where I was like, "Who is gonna win this?" Like even when the best
Oh,
new
yeah.
artist, I was like looking because it shows their pictures in the background,
It
Right.
could
like
have been
next side by
anybody, huh?
side, and I was like, "Dang, I don't know who's gonna win this." And I did that several times throughout the night, and so
Mhm. Mhm.
if it wasn't Beyonce and it was somebody else, I wouldn't be mad because
Right.
like they were all good,
Oh
Yeah, they're all
yeah.
you
so
For
know.
sure.
good. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
The one thing I think about, like with those, like the Album of the Year award, all 13,000 members are voting on that.
yeah,
It's not like that in every category.
yeah,
Mhm.
Mm.
You know, like I don't know how many people vote for children's music, but
right,
it's not 13,000 because you can only there are like categories of
yeah,
voting, and so
Mhm.
you can only vote in so many
yeah.
categories. Every
Mm.
person,
So
right?
that one is considered a general category.
Right.
There's like what, four
I
general
think four.
categories, I
Yeah.
think, and
Yeah.
all 13,000 members can vote in it.
Okay.
And then all the other categories like children's, jazz, Latin, etc. Like we
Yeah.
could vote in, I think, three categories or something
Yeah,
like that.
three categories. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Okay. So it's
Yeah.
like
Interesting.
rounds of voting. So you get first round is to get to the nomination,
Right.
and then another round of voting
to
for
decide the
the
winner.
yeah.
Yep. To narrow it
Okay.
down.
So that's how it works. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Interesting. I just kind of want to go over the nominees for the album of the year. We
sure.
had Cowboy Carter by Beyonce, New Blue Sun by Andre 3000, uh, Did Jesse Volume 4 by Jacob Collier. What genre is he? Because I know he was on stage for someone's performance. Do we know?
Oh
I'm
no,
not familiar at
I'm
all.
not. I'm not
I
either.
think he won. Wait, did he? He won. I thought he won something too. I don't know if it was televised though.
Hmm. Interesting.
But keep
Hmm.
on, keep
Yeah,
on.
and then Short and Sweet by Sabrina Carpenter,
Yep.
Yeah,
The Tortured Poets Department by Taylor Swift,
Yep.
The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess by Chapel Roan, Brat by Charlie XCX, and Hit Me Hard and Soft by Billie Eilish. So these are very like
Yeah.
end of the spectrum, like all points in the spectrum type of music. So I'm pretty sure it had to have been close. It had to
Yeah,
have
for
been really
sure.
close.
Anybody could have taken it.
Yeah.
Anyone could have
For
taken
sure.
it. But yeah, honestly, I mean, 90s divas. I'm a fan of Beyonce, so seeing her win, I
Same.
was like, this
Same.
is
Yep.
yeah.
so great. Yeah, I mean,
I think
I
her
don't know what else
genre
to say.
shift helped her too.
Yeah.
I kind of do. I think maybe it like expanded her base some.
Ooh, that's a good
Mm-hmm.
point.
Putting out something a little different.
Mhm.
I think totally what you know. Who knows in the court of public opinion, but what JC said from the stage is probably like polarizing in some way, which I think in this kind of thing can either help or hurt. It
Mm-hmm.
seemed like it
That's
helped.
true. That's
That's true.
true. She did say when she won, that
About the genre.
about the genre. She's like, I think genre is a code word to help artists stay in their lane, which isn't necessarily a good thing. And if you're passionate about something, just pursue it,
Yeah,
pursue it, pursue it, pursue it. And I thought that was wonderful for her to say because like, yeah, who's to say that you can't do a rap album or you can't do a jazz album or you can't
That's
do
a
a
good
flute
point.
album,
yeah,
Because Andre 3000, he stepped completely away from hip hop and he did a whole flute jazz album
Yeah.
and it got nominated for album of the year. So it says a lot,
That's true.
yeah.
if
Yeah.
I
you,
loved it. I love what she said, and
yeah.
to bring it to children's musician for what Simon and I do, like the cool thing about it, at least in my opinion, is we could do whatever genre we want.
Hmm.
So as you guys heard in my music, I got rap, I got
Mm-hmm.
EDM, I
Yep.
got a couple of country songs,
Yeah.
right? And I probably would never release that if I was still doing pop R&B like hip hop,
Yeah.
and with kids music, like you could explore any genre you want
Yeah.
and write whatever, and if it's cool, kids and adults will probably like it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good
Yeah.
point because if you think about who your target audience is,
Yeah.
they don't care what genre it's in. They like what they like. You know
Yeah.
what I
Right.
mean? So yeah,
I
I think
think it
that's
is
smart.
problematic to try to categorize art. You're going to run into I met a excuse me a new age artist this week who was submitting an album of lullabies she wrote for for kids, like
Right.
I think like her
Mm.
grandchildren, and like, but it was kind of like tricky because you know it's still new age music, and like
Yeah.
where do you draw that line? Like at what point does it cross over and become children's music? Is it like intent? Do you have to
Mm.
like
Mm.
mention bananas in your songs or like some kind of kid lyric? And I think it's just hard to draw those lines. Most of us don't experience it, but yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Especially nowadays when, like, I don't know, most people who listen to music like multiple genres, and a lot of genres cross over and blend to make new genres. So I don't know. I think it's an interesting transition period we're in now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think end of the day, like the Grammys or any other academy, I think they're doing the best they can.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
You know? Because
how do you
what are you
change that
supposed to
up?
do
Yeah,
when
what are
they're
you supposed
crossing
to?
genres and it's like a hip hop slash Afrobeat slash country song? Like, how are you supposed to place
Mhm.
that?
Yeah,
And
Right.
Mhm.
that's true.
and again, end of the day, it's all subjective. Like, you like what you like, you know? Like,
Hmm.
maybe I might be biased because I like hip hop, 90s hip hop, and 2000s hip hop and R&B.
Right.
Like, who's to say that my opinion is better than anyone else's? Even,
Yeah.
you
Right.
know?
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what the Grammys kind of change into over the next, the course of 10 years, because it might not be genre based anymore. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? And
that'd be interesting.
yeah, I mean, especially at the age of like the digital age we're in now, and like how does that play into how people vote and so on.
Mhm.
So yeah, it'll be fun to see.
Agreed.
Definitely.
Agreed.
Those kind of sound like closing statements, like closing thoughts and
On
thoughts.
that note,
On that
Yeah.
note, no, I love it. I think, again, with the CEO talking about how much more inclusive the academy is now, and then artists that have never won certain categories of awards are winning now, and all this stuff. And I'm hopeful for the future of the Grammys and just award shows and um, you know events like this in general,
Hmm.
being more inclusive and I
So
don't
let me
know, just
ask you,
being
Linz,
better.
would you consider watching the Grammys again, even if you didn't have to?
Yes.
Wow.
I mean, actually talking about how much fun it was to watch and how I can see the effort that the Grammys put into this year's show and
Hmm.
to, be socially conscious and to be philanthropic and to, give, people, these platforms to talk and to know more about these artists like with like their video
Right.
montages and whatnot.
Right.
And I don't think anybody got played away from their acceptance speech, right? Like sometimes they play music to like make them like hurry up and
Oh,
get
that's
off
true.
That's true.
yeah, I
I
don't
didn't notice that.
Yeah.
yeah, I
yeah,
noticed it. Yeah.
I don't think that happened.
That
And
was cool.
yeah, so it's awesome that the Grammys are um, acknowledging these artists, awarding these artists and letting them have their moment.
Mhm.
And yeah, all the performances were fun. Oh, let me just say Trevor Noah did a great job.
Yeah.
I
He's
think he was
hilarious.
Yeah.
awesome. And actually one of my favorite moments of the night was early on when um he was talking about AD being traded for Luca, and
Yeah.
then when they came back from the commercial break, Jim Gaffigan got the mic, and he's like,
Yeah.
"I'm sorry to say that Trevor Noah got traded, and I'm the new host of the
Yeah.
show."
Yeah.
And I was like,
Nice.
"Yo, like these little jokes, like
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
were some of them are fast, and a lot of people in the audience didn't hear it or catch it,
Right.
but
Yeah,
someone like me sitting at home just like paying attention, it was great.
Yeah.
It was just lovely. I loved it.
that's funny.
Yeah."
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, so yeah, thanks guys for, coming in
This was
and
great.
talking about your experience. It's dope to hear from two people that are part of the academy that actually watched it live in person.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And yeah, yeah, it was
Yeah.
great chopping it
Thanks
up.
for coming on,
Yeah,
guys.
man. This is cool.
Thanks
Cool.
for
Thank
having
you.
us.